Hi, welcome back to my channel and into my studio. Today it's a kind of a rainy, gross day out. Well, it was super hot this morning, and so I didn't go out, and now it's turned off, all rainy, and looks like it's going to be thunderstorming any second now, so the lighting's a little dark in my studio, more so than normal, but I think I've got everything set up that we're going to be able to see good with what I'm painting today. But I wanted to just tell you real quick, I'm going to be playing with color. I'm going to be exploring what happens when I paint with the wrong colors, when I mix up unusual colors, and just don't paint. I'm going to paint this scene every way except the normal way, and just explore and see what I find out. So I'm inviting you to come along with me on this journey. What I've got that you're seeing there, where is it? Nope, that way. Can't figure out which way to point. Wrong. That way. Okay. That is so backwards. But anyway, what I've got right there is I've got two photos. One is my actual reference photo. Let's see if I can do this right. Yes. That is the reference photo that I took at the beach one day. And I was just trying to capture the feeling that I felt being there at the beach. It was really a nice day. There's wide open spaces, blue skies, a lot of breeze, a lot of birds noise and waves crashing noise. And I was trying to capture that, and I really liked the look of all these long shadows. It was late in the day, so it was late evening, and you got all these long shadows of these palm trees and all the shadows showing up on the side of the lifeguard hut. Around here they call them lifeguard towers, but that is no way what I think of as a tower, so it's a lifeguard hut. You can call it what you want to call it. But anyway, I don't like that one picture, that one tree right up the center of the picture. To me, that just ruins the picture. So what I decided to do was to take that, let's see if I can do this right again. Here, there. Take that lifeguard hut and enlarge it and move it over here and put it in where that tree is and delete the tree. So to get the general idea, that's what I'm talking about, and that's what I'm going to paint. And I'm going to use that drawing. I've got it repeated over and over and over on my paper here. And let's just go ahead and switch down to my other screen. Is that the right thing? Yeah, it is. Let's see. Turn me back on in there. Hello, there's where I am. And I've got my printouts here. I'm going to put them right up above where my paint area is so I can look at them, because it's easier for me to look at that than to keep looking up at the one on the screen. But I've got the one on the screen there for you so you can see it. Now, you can see I've got this big piece of paper that I've drawn my drawing out over and over and over. What I did first was I took my ruler and I drew lines and gridded off my whole big piece of paper. This piece is, let me see here, it is 18 by 24 inches, so that's the size, and I taped off where I put the lines, and I've got all these boxes, and I drew the same picture over and over, repeated in there. And then I did go ahead and paint one in the normal colors. This is called local color. Just so you got the terms here, let's zoom in a little bit. There you go. Local color is what that is, and that just means the colors that I see it in are normal or actual colors. Like, the water's blue, the sky is blue, the tops of the trees, the fronds are green, the sand is sand color. Now, I did go ahead and, because I've been doing this for a while and it's too natural to me and I've forgotten, I put, or I didn't forget, it's just I can't bring myself to paint shadows under here with black or gray because it doesn't look pretty. So I painted those with some varieties of purple and put that into my burnt sienna to get my shadow color underneath the lifeguard hut, and it would be the same where I paint shadows on the sand of the palm trees. And the way I get over into that color, it's intuitive, so I call that intuitive painting, or using intuitive color. It's just kind of instinctual to pick up that color for me now, because that I know is going to look right. It's going to look like shadows. It's going to look pretty. And it's not going to be me using gray or something to paint this, because it just wouldn't be pretty. So instead of painting shadows, I learned that because, I actually painted, when I first started painting, was teaching myself. I didn't know anything about color, and I'm completely self-taught. So I didn't know anything about intuitive color. I didn't know what colors to use for painting different things. And it never even dawned on me I would use anything other than gray to paint shadows. But I was painting, I remember one time I was painting a brick wall behind a group of little kids who were all standing there waving their little American flags, and it was so adorable and cute. And so I was painting this, but it just kept coming out looking wrong and it didn't look pretty to me, and I could never figure out what was wrong. And what was wrong was using gray to paint the shadows behind the children on that brick wall. And I had my brick wall look really nice, and I worked so hard on it, and I had the kids all looking great, but could never get those shadows right. It's because I had to figure out, and figuring out, by figuring out, I mean I read a lot of books from the library and stuff like that. And finally I learned about intuitive color, and so now I want to share a little bit of that with you today. And we're going to jump right into this and start throwing some great color down on here. And we're going to just start off with, now that I've showed you the one that I got with the local color, and that is really what that's called, that term. It's an art term. Local color is on here. Now I'm going to just pick one of these other spots here and just start throwing in some crazy colors. And one thing you need to know about when you're working with color, it's important to understand about color temperature. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as we go, but we're going to just jump right in and start painting. So I've got my paper towels, I've got clean water over here, and I've got my paint palette. My paint palette is a bit of a mess, but it always stays looking like that because actually I can put water on any one of these. It's completely dried right now, but I can put water on it and it's paint again. And I don't like to waste it because sometimes I got some really great color going on there and I want to use that again. So that's why that's there. But I will tell you what colors I'm using as I'm going here. Now let's see if I can move my paper around here and get it where, well, I'll just start painting right here. And let me zoom in too. Yeah, we're going to zoom in. And that way I'll just paint on this one that's right here in front of the camera, and then I'll move my paper as needed. The only thing this does is it takes away the reference photo. Let's see if I've got, what happens if I put the reference photo back in here. Is that the right one? Oh, it's tiny. So let me enlarge that. Oops, come back there. See if I can enlarge that a bit so you can still be able to see the reference photo we're working on, but you can see what I'm painting as well. I think that'll do it. Okay, so paper towels, paintbrush, clean water, got a reference photo. So let's jump into this. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and paint this one using the warmest of the warm colors that I have. Warm colors are yellow, red, orange, those things. Cool colors are blue, green, purple, like that side of the color wheel. And I guess since I can, I'll pop this little color wheel over here. Okay, so that side of the color wheel is more cool, this side's more warm. Ditto over here. There. But you can have a blue that tends toward warm and a blue that tends toward cool. And the same thing with red and yellow and every other color. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to say what is the hottest, probably the hottest thing on this beach here is probably the sand. And I'm going to paint the sand with one of my warmest warm colors. I'm going to paint it with some bright red. Because remember, I'm experimenting here. And to a certain extent, I want to paint like normal. But then I am going to be putting putting such weird color in here, it's not going to just be normal. Okay, there's a little sand you can see right through there, and we've got a little sand color reflected up onto the back or the underneath of that ramp down out of there. Okay, now I want to do a slightly altered version of that color for the lifeguard hut. It's already yellow, but I want to make it warmer than normal. So I'm going to add some yellow to some scarlet lake, that scarlet lake that I put on there. And I'm adding yellow to it to make it a bit more orange. And I want to put this color right in here. And I'm going to put it on this side, but this side is in the shadow of the, it's around the corner from that sun hitting it straight on it. That just looks like a fun idea to just put some extra color right in there. So I just did it. Oh, that really warms that right up. All right, so I need to put a little something in there to cool that down a little. I'm going to just pick up some of this purple Winsor Violet that I have on my palette. That's a little bit much. But I'm going to just spread that down in there, and that puts that side in shadow, and it also cools it down a little bit. And you have to be a little careful. Actually, I'm not even going to say that, because this is supposed to be all about experimenting and playing and exploring what happens. So we're going to figure out some of this, what happens, as we go. Rather than me saying it, it's just going to become obvious as we work. Okay, let's see, that needs to go right on up there. Okay, now, the sky is probably not, like, I have to decide which is cooler, the water or the air. I'm going to say the water is cooler. So for the air, I'm going to just put in some yellow. Got some red in it, so I'm going to have to pull that back out. All right, get that yellow spread around on there. And then I'm going to take some of it back up from there, because I do want to spread a little bit of what color? I want to put something in it that's more of a sky. Let's see, this is really warm, and I want really cool. I've got a kind of an icy pretty blue over here. It's a Verditer blue. I want to just throw a little bit of that across there and see what happens. Make it like some clouds there. Okay, that's interesting. It's a really interesting sky. Okay, now I want this water to be my coolest, coldest looking blue. I'm going to probably just take some ultramarine blue and just put a nice thing of ultramarine on there. Now, I don't want to touch it up into that sky. I don't want it spreading up in there, so I've got to be a little bit careful. All right, now the roof of that thing is kind of a brownish color in real life, or local color. It's a brownish green, but I want it to be a really nice warm color. I think I'll just go with a green, but I don't want phthalo green, so I'm going to mix some other, I've got some sap green or an olivey green color. I'm going to get some of that olivey green color and just brighten it just with a little tiny bit of the phthalo green, and use this on that roof. And then a little bit more phthalo green in there for this side, so it's just a tad darker over on that side. That looks pretty good. Now my palm tree trunks, I usually mix a little bit of yellow and one of my purples, like Winsor Violet. I think I'm going to just take the Winsor Violet and just put that on those palm tree trunks. Yeah, that looks good. One a little darker at the top, where it would have shadows of the palm fronds on it. So make them dark at their tops, a little bit dark at the bottom. And I'm going to just tickle in a little bit of shadow on there. Okay, I'll put the rest of that shadow is going to go on later. Now, I need the browns of the wood, and I need the shadow inside of there. That's going to be a really cool area inside there too. So rather than paint that with the normal color, I'm just going to put some more blue in there, some ultramarine blue right in there. That's my shadowy color inside the window. But I think it needs something, so we'll drop in just a little bit of Winsor Violet. If I can get a little bit on my brush, not overdo it. There, that's pretty good. Now, the burnt sienna that I normally use, I don't think I want to use that. While I've got it on my brush, I'm going to just wipe some of this blue off here, this blue and purple, in this area where it would have shadows up underneath that wood there. And on the underneath side of the ramp. A lot of this side is in shadow, so I'll just go ahead and paint that. Then we got a little bit going on underneath here. And I'll do more to that in a minute. But I do want to decide, what am I going to use on what would be the burnt sienna part? I guess I could go really, really different. Let's just do it. I'll just use some magenta. It's in the same color family. It's maybe a nice red hot color, although I think the magenta tends a little bit toward blue, so it might be considered more of a cool red or an in-between red. And I didn't say before, but also a lot of that is so subjective, whether the color is cool or warm, once you start talking about color mixes and anything out of the range of the primaries. I have read a lot of different books and noticed that the experts, if you will, who are writing these books, they don't always agree on whether a color is warm or cool. So I'm not going to be stressed about it. Trying to make sure I'm only using a warm, cool color or a cool color or whatever. Not going to worry about that. I'm going to worry about, do I like my painting or not? Did I get it looking pretty? I'm going to pull this color a little bit thinner so some of the white of the paper kind of just shines through. I don't know that I'm getting that effect going, but it's what I'm shooting for, so it can look a little bit lighter that way. Let's see, I need some up here too, on this part of the roof. Put a little bit around that window. Alright, now, let's see, maybe blot it a bit if it's not already dry. That's pretty good. Took a little bit of that color back up right along there and lightened it a little, so it looks like it has some lightness to it. And I want to put a little bit of this color on the underneath of there, just to color those shadows up underneath the lifeguard hut. Now here comes some more shadows with this same color, because it would sort of be reflected into the sand. And then I want to put these other lines they're just crisscrossing all over the place underneath here. As long as I get something that looks like gives us the right idea. I don't have to get it perfect. That's pretty good. Now I want to get some water on there and just loosen that color up. I didn't put any more color. I just put some water on. And look what that did. That made some really rich, pretty color in there. I like that. Gave me some nice color underneath the trees there. And I'm going to put a little bit of it on this side because I like it. So that looks good. Touch a little tiny bit right along in there. Okay, that's looking pretty cool. Now I have to figure what color do I want to make palm fronds if I'm not making them the right color. That's going to be interesting. Let's go again with a little bit of this magenta since I have it on my brush. And let's see, here's where I want to see what my palm fronds are looking like. I've got one hanging down right there. Too much water. Got another one hanging down right there. So I'm going out this way. Okay, that's a good start with that color. Now let's put on, let's see here. I think I'll put on some yellow. Now, I think I like that same light blue that I put in the sky. I think I'm going to put a little of that in and see what happens. It's really light. It might be too light. No, I think it's doing the trick. Those are really unusual palm fronds right there. Yeah, I like that a little better. Okay, it's different, but I don't know if I think it's pretty. But I kind of like the way that magenta did in those shadows under there. That looked pretty cool. So, moving on to the next one. I think it came out pretty cool. Let's see here, let me just remind you, these are my reference photos, what we worked with, and I enjoyed this painting this thing a whole lot. It was fun. Wow, look how dark it is. It got dark in my studio. I have the light on my table, so I'm not really noticing how dark it is, but anyhow. So, where was I? I was having a lot of fun playing. Let's see, I might as well turn that out of there so you can see, playing with color and learning a lot while I experiment. Let me go ahead and pull the rest of this tape off here. All of those pretty different color combinations, and I had fun painting them. I had fun exploring what happens when I mix these colors and that colors. I learned that I can't make light colored shadows because they just don't want to work out good. I learned that green sand just is so wrong to me. Blue sand also. So I'll never be painting my sand blue or green, but the red is kind of cool looking, and I like these colors, how they mix, and I like the deep, dark, big, shadowy areas versus sometimes I painted just a smaller shadow. And then in my local color, I've got a little tiny shadow because in this one I got the palm trees off of the frame, and I didn't like that. I like it more when I can have these long, like stretchy, long shadows like I have in some of these here. That's just a cool way that I like it. I like that appearance. So I learned a lot from this play thing, and this, while I was playing, I was also doing research for my paintings. You know, that when I'm gonna paint a big piece on purpose for, like, let's see. Ooh, really dark. Is that one good? Oh, that's nice. Hello. There. When I'm going to paint a big piece for like an exhibit or something, and I want to do something unusual, I can use information that I learned from this project I did today and paint something really cool looking and fun. And so that is one reason to do this. And then also I can cut these all apart and either frame them as little small 5x7 things, or I could even use them as postcards, hand-painted postcards. How cool would that be? So all of this is not really wasted. It's very important research and exploration, even though it was fun playtime with color. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll give it a try sometime with your own projects. And you don't have to just paint a lifeguard hut on the beach. You can do this with birds or trees or butterflies, excuse me, anything you can think of, even a still life of just some glass bottles or your cup of tea. Or your breakfast donut, maybe. That would be kind of cool. A whole bunch of different donuts in different colors. But that may have already been done. I don't know. Anyways, play with this, have fun with it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.